What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? It is Monday morning, the start of a new week, the start of a new month. We have every sport rolling right now. It's that time of the year where everything comes together. It's going to be very intense just until the NHL starts their playoffs. The final game of the regular season, I believe, is Friday. So we've got NCAA basketball today. We've got NBA basketball today. We got NHL. We got MLB. It's all coming together. And I'm pumped. I'm excited to start a new month and a new week, and I feel refreshed after the weekend. I took yesterday off to kind of regroup. I was hammered the Florida Derby with my man Joe Rich. Joe Rich Ramirez in the house, who jumped on the Derby with us. Man, the Derby was, from a capping breakdown, just a mess. You have a 45-2 first half in the Fountain of Youth, and then a 48 first half. I mean, it was just a mess, an absolute mess. The favorite, who we think has to be up on the pace, is held back to stalk, which obviously the horse can't do. So that creates a situation where Maximum Security runs the 48 first half and wins easily. Now, Maximum Security has never lost and trains very slowly. Was in a $16,000 maiden race just, 3 months ago. And now it could be a very interesting horse for the Kentucky Derby because he breaks well, gets out of trouble, and that's what you need to have happening in the Derby. We'll have to see if he gets a favorable post, but if he starts from 1 to 9, you have to think Maximum Security could pull it off for Jason Service. But enough about that. We've got a lot of work to do today. Shout out to all the cappers in the house. We got my man Joe Rich. We got Steven Dollar. We got Cobra Sports. Kylie Reynolds in the house. Kylie Reynolds on Yankees run line play of the day. We got JF says Monster NHL this weekend. Let's keep it rolling. Need Ian's insights. Ian will be here on Thursday. Won't be here today for this show. JF. And who else do we have here? We got Rez Mob in the house. Richie Rich in business. Kevin Pine. Ryan Gosselin. Kevin Pine says NCAA riding Auburn and Texas Tech. Man, they laughed at Drew and I when we said Texas Tech would win that region. We got Tomarino Tomor. CR saying rip Nipsey Hussle. Yeah, that is sad news to start the week with Hattori Hanzo. Now it's Alex Seaman, Andre Harris, and Alaska Marv. Kingu about business. We haven't seen enough of Kingu lately. Tomarino. Tomor, I need to send you $100. Can you please contact me at JimmyTheBag@hotmail.com. I need to send you $100. You won the bet, the Flyers bet, so please can we create a situation where I can do that for you, and congratulations on your success. Randy Lockhart in the house. We got Alex Hill says, what up, Jimmy? Guys, $200 money line Auburn playing them headed to the game this Saturday. Oh, wow. What a game that's going to be, Alex. Enjoy that. We got Yellow Jesus blessing all of our picks. Carlos Perosians, Cheesy Balls, Eric Jones. We got Bob Taylor, sorry, I just sped up really fast. Bob Taylor said, Jimmy, how do you do on the ponies? I had an okay start. I lost $110 on the last race, and overall, it was a bad day. It ended up being a bad day. I went for a score on the last race. I ended up down 220. I got most of it back because I made only 2 futures in NCAA basketball. I made Virginia to win the region, Virginia to win it all. So I made most of it back on the Virginia to win the region bet. So it wasn't great. Lil J King Rail in the house. Beautiful, because we need to work on this basketball card together. Dan Kelly. The April Fools. Thank you, Dan Kelly. Nice to have a little April Fool's glory. Capo17 Don says, what's good? We got Pepper. We got Dom reaching 10-4 to start the year. And as I said, we are going to have records this week. So today we just have the MLB record, but everything else will be coming in this week. And then as soon as my records are complete, then we'll get Freddie Fortune's records done. And Lucrative Larry's caught up. But we're almost there. We do have the MLB record, and it's not pretty. Not pretty. We got Tease in the house. Jemiah, my man. Jemiah, man. It's been too long. Jemiah, man. You are missed. Jemiah in the house. Too sharp to be square. We got Laurent Kuiper in the house. Von Polo. Gas station sushi, which we now understand. We have learned what that meant. I had no idea. I thought it was just sushi from the gas station, and it's not. All right, Dan Kelly says, I got White Sox plus 1.5, minus 135 early this morning. We got Kobe James. We got Drew B. Bubbarito. Flip Money. Flip Bubbarito says, any success so far in MLB, Jim? You're probably guessing no, and you'd be right. No, it hasn't been very good. We got Shadow now. It's so great to see Shadow. We got Ray Williams, Lucky, Lefty, Dennis Garcia. Dennis Garcia says Pitt St. Louis over 7.5 plus 1 to kick off the day. It's very cold, but I think that's a good way of doing it. Viral Video AZ. We got Jeff Dean, Sebastian Arnold. Okay. And CR saying today's a sad day for him up. Yeah, it certainly is. Okay. Jeff Joseph said, Hidden Scroll let me down. Agreed, Jimmy. He has to be on the lead. Terrible ride. We still bet him in the Derby. No, there's no reason to bet Hidden Scroll. That will be a 45.5. We don't know if he can go distance. They obviously were concerned with that extra furlong in this race, so they didn't push him on the lead. We'll see if Hidden Scroll's even in the Derby. Does he have enough points to get in the Derby? I doubt he's even in the Derby. Okay, let's get to work here. Al McInnes, you got us. What a great group. Bruce F said won a 6-bet parlay at UFC. Speaking of which, shout out to Anna Merrick, 7-0 on the UFC this weekend. 7-0. Engaging at plus 185. Smashes. Shout out to Anna Merrick. In spectacular work. Don Regis says, I'm in second place in my 2 brackets, both Virginia, Michigan State final. Wow, Virginia winning. Oh, I hope that's the case. Gas Station 2 saying, rip Larry's turkey. Sadly, that sounds like that's going to be the situation here. Ron Crawford, ready to rock. Okay. Oh, wow. Flip Money says, what up, Lowbaggers? Really upset with the Bruins cost me 2K payout. Damn, I hate hearing that on a big parlay. Okay, so, and Alex Guerrero starting out 8-2. Wow. Okay, so this is how we're going to do things. Now, remember, this is our show. It's not my show. So this is how I would like to do things moving forward. At this time, until we get to the NHL playoffs this week, there's not going to be enough time to cap each and every game on the morning show. So what I'm going to do is every day we're going to start with the day games in MLB, just the day games. And then we're going to move on. So today we have 2 day games. We're going to start with that. Then we're going to cap the NHL card and then the NBA card to the best of our abilities. Then we have guests coming in. So we have Drew Martin coming in. He's probably going to want to talk about the DePaul, South Florida game going on tonight. He's going to want to talk baseball. And then we're going to finish off the rest of the MLB card to open up every late show. And then we're going to finish whatever's remaining on the late show as well. We're not going to be having Max as often. He won't be here today. He will be here tomorrow because there is 4 NCAA games on the late show. That's what I need. Kobe James said, Jimmy, I need you to be sharp today. Brung me out the graveyard before. Yes, Kobe, we're going to get to work. Okay, we're going to get to work. Isaiah Hearn, we got Remigi Robert. We got a great group. Okay, May 9-10. Let's get to work. Did I miss somebody? Someone said birthday. Jeff Joe said a good point about the Derby points. Yeah, I don't think he's in. I don't think he's in the race. But we have a lot of work to do on the Derby, and hopefully I got minimum $500 to bet on it. Hopefully around 1,000, and that's the next Beat the Bag contest. We'll be announcing the winner of the Beat the Bag on the late show. I hit 5 of the 14 races in the contest. So I mean, if both the last 2 contests, if I just only bet the horse I'm taking in the contest to win, there would have been 2 successful days. But we go for big scores. Okay, let's get to work now. So to begin. Just like old times. Rafa, can you show up my horrifying MLB record? Now, I mean, we're just starting out the year. I can get this shit back. And unbelievably, that MLB record is actually better than my bets because one spot I didn't bet because I got 4 on the show and it was the first 500 and I could only get bet 3.5 and I didn't bet and that was a winner. And so that was on my record. And then there was another push here, so whatever. It is what it is, but let's get to work. Shadow says hit an 18 and 14 parlay over the weekend. Whoa, beautiful stuff. Okay, let's get to work right now. We're going to start with that first game popping off, Cardinals at Pirates. Cardinals opened their season with a very tough 4-game series in Milwaukee. I think they're going to find the Pirates a little easier. Not a lot easier, but a little easier, especially that lineup. You're not going to have to deal with the hottest player in the world in Christian Yelich, at least down the middle. Now it's cold. Sunny, 38 Fahrenheit, wind blowing out at 6 miles per hour. When I look at these 2 pitchers, Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals and Chris Archer for the Pirates, I just feel like, how's Chris Archer going to handle the cold weather? I mean, he's never had to go through this in his career. He didn't have to go through it really until the very end of the season last year with Pittsburgh because he started the year with Tampa, and it didn't get cold till late, if he even felt it. So that said and done, I want to fade the Archer here. He didn't look good in the spring. And Wainwright is a guy who you can trust in these big situations. We can trust him it's the opening day in Pittsburgh. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be cold. The pressure's going to be on him. And I just feel like he steps up in these situations. Let's talk a little bit about it. So Daryl Lau says, I'm on Pirates. Let's take a look and then we'll break down a little bit more. But Wainwright last year, injury-shortened year, only pitched 40 innings, got 40 Ks, which is higher than normal, but 18 walks. He had more velocity than I expected him to have. And in the spring, he looked great. He looked very, very good, 0.91 whip. Archer, though, last year had very similar numbers in Pittsburgh and in Tampa. Very, very similar numbers. Now, I know we're dealing with one of the best pitching coaches in the business in Pittsburgh. That should be helping him. In the spring, he didn't look very good. He's just a guy I don't trust. Bob Taylor says Tampa plays indoors. Exactly. That's why. That's why he isn't used to cold weather. You got Moss says he's an MLB pitcher, Jimmy, with New York and Boston in the division he played. That is a valid point. That is a valid point. It's not like he's never done it before in his life. But Tormio says I'd lean Pittsburgh. Wainwright has had so many injuries, and Pittsburgh knows him well, but he steps up in these situations. Tormio says St. Louis hasn't seen Archer very much. That's a valid point. Daryl Lyle says I'm on Pirates. Let's take a look. Well, let's break down the game a little more and then see what kind of value we can find on the board. Pittsburgh split a rain-shortened 2-game series with Cincinnati to open the season. They altered their rotation to ensure that Archer would open their season opener, which, I love the way Trevor Williams looked at the end of last year and already this year. I don't know why Archer would necessarily be the guy. Archer was 3-3, 4.30 ERA in 10 starts with Pittsburgh, but he came on late. September, he was 2-1 with a 2.70 ERA, 1.07 whip. Archer got hernia surgery in November, so it wasn't a very productive summer for him, or off-season, I should say, for him. Cardinals lost 3 of 4. There were 3 very close games against Milwaukee, and the one they won was 9-5, so they lost 3 tight games. Wainwright had a tough year last year. Hamstring, elbow problems. He came back and made 4 starts in September. He's 13-7 with a 4.36 ERA. Shadow says I'm on Pittsburgh money line. Everybody, Drew Daddy saying Noli on the under. The under does make sense to me. You got Moss says he's pitched in the cold. Trust me, Jimmy. He has pitched before in the cold, but very rarely. Whereas a guy like Wainwright is very used to it. Don Reed saying Wainwright on the road is 21-13 last 5 years. Bob Taylor says I'm on the under because of the weather. History shows less runs are scored in the cold. Absolutely. I am Axman says if everything is pointing towards Pirates, and I think I'd rather take Cards. Archer could shit the bed, and Cards have nice bats. Don Ricci is on the over. Bud Nino says I'm on the Cards confidently. Okay, let's pull up SBR Sportsbook Review, and let's get our sorry, a little bit behind here. Let me get Sportsbook Review up here, and let's break down exactly what the best value is, because I'm going to make a move on the Cards today. I like Wainwright in this pressure situation, and if I compare him to Archer, I just don't trust Archer. Trust Archer. Retro Horror is on the over here. All right, let's go to money lines and totals. Wainwright, Archer. Yeah, I'm getting a plus line, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a Wainwright to step up here. Let's see what Tomoro says. I'd lean under. PNC is a big park in cold weather. UL Moss says, I do like how St. Louis has won the bats through 34 hits in first 4 series on the road. Isn't bad. Yeah, when it all comes down to it, I don't trust Archer. I am going to take the St. Louis Cardinals here. I'm going to get a plus 113 at Pinnacle, Bookmaker, and Heritage, all hanging the plus 113. And I'm going to take it. Cardinals, plus 113. Book it. And there's our man, Adam Merrick, says, tell me y'all made some money, cash on Saturday, UFC sweep, spectacular stuff. I opened the show by giving you a shout out, Adam Merrick. Very, very, very spectacular stuff. Very exciting. Okay, so that's what's in business. I'm on the Cards, plus 113 going for the plus line. Tomer says you got Moss. Cardinals have swung the bats well, but it's again against weak pitching. And Noli knows took St. Louis, Pittsburgh under 7.5, which makes a ton of sense. But I'm just going to stick with the Cardinals on the money line. Now let's move on to the second early game here. Drew Daddy said I picked 3 of the final 4 correctly. Anyone go 4-4? No. I don't know if anyone did, but I didn't. I have the only in my brackets I have 2 of the 4, Texas Tech and Virginia. But I have a pool where you just pick teams and you get points for them, and I have Texas Tech, Auburn, and Virginia, but I might not win it. There's about 300 people in it, and it's going to be tight. It's going to come right down to it. I didn't have a great start, but now I'm in business. There's about 8 people jockeying for those 8 spots right there. So, okay, sharp money ready to go. Okay, Von Polo's on the Cardinals reverse run line. I like that a lot. That's beautiful. Okay, so with all that said and done, let's move on to White Sox at Indians. Another 38 Fahrenheit, very cold day in Cleveland. We remember last year Cleveland bats got off to an extremely slow start in the cold weather, and now they're in a very tough spot. I mean, no Lindor. Their offense, we thought, would start slowly because we knew that Ramirez was coming back from an injury. Let's break this game down. White Sox open their season 1-2 on the road, and the Indians are making their home opener. Let's take a quick look at the White Sox Cleveland spot. So if you did want to back the White Sox, now Dan Kelly got him a plus 1.5. If you want to take him on the money line, you're getting a low of plus 137 at Bookmaker, a high of plus 141 at Pinnacle. And the total is another 7.5. 7.5. So we know the Noli is on the under in Pittsburgh, St. Louis. With the White Sox Indians, it's another 7.5. The under is minus 104, whereas the under is juiced in the St. Louis Pittsburgh game at minus 122. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's break this game down. We have Ivan Nova versus Clevenger. Nova making his White Sox debut. Nova looked good last year, and he looked very good in the spring. In the spring, he threw 19 innings. He 15 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0.95 whip. And quote unquote, he says, "I'm ready to go right now. I told you guys the other day, I'm ready to go." He didn't walk a batter. He looked very good in the spring. Last year, 99, 4.19 ERA, 1.28 whip, 114 Ks, 35 walks for the Pirates. Then Clevenger. Clevenger became an ace in front of our eyes last year. 13-8, 3.02 ERA, 1.16 whip, 207 Ks, 67 walks. In the spring, he did not look very good. But as we know, the spring numbers don't mean a ton. Wow, look at Animeric. A 5-team parlay on his picks for plus 1736 that hit. Wow, incredible job, Animeric. I love hearing that. Beautiful. Almac says, "I'm up 6 units so far, fading the top 8 teams on the futures market and tailing the bottom 8 teams." Wow. Got to run this system all month. That's very, very interesting, Almac. That makes sense for early in the year. Okay, Don Reed says, "The over so dominating with the Cards on the road, with Cards versus righties, and with Cards at Pitt." I get that. And Anthony S. saying Cleveland got smoked yesterday. Tomino says, "I'd lean to the White Sox. Nova's a fly ball pitcher in cold weather. He should be okay in this park against a beat-up Cleveland lineup." I agree. I think that's a good look. Indians went 49-32 at home and won 14-19 versus the White Sox last year. But this, as you said, this team is very cold and hurt. Ramirez playing hurt, 1 for 11 to start the year. Tyler Naquin, 0 for 7, 6 strikeouts to start the year. The Indians have scored just 5 runs in 3 games. This feels like a perfect spot to take the dog. A perfect opportunity to take the White Sox here. And I may do it. Let's see what Almac's on. Almac's on Cincy, Atlanta, Miami, San Francisco, Arizona, White Sox, Detroit, Texas, Oakland, Seattle. Wow, that's a big card, and I like it. Nolan says another 30-degree game. Give me the under with Clevenger on the mound and a lineup that lacks power. Well, Abreu has looked okay, 3-run home run in that loss to the Royals. We know that's a tough place to hit homers. And then Moncada also went deep. He's 6 for 13 with 5 runs scored. I feel like we should take dogs in both of these games. I feel like we should. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger with the White Sox right now. I'm certainly going to pull the trigger with the Cardinals at plus 113. Nasty says, "Jimmy, how's your MLB season going?" We just put up the records earlier. It's not going great. I'm down 3 units right now. Tomio says, "Yeah, it's ridiculous. They start the MLB season before May playing in 30-degree weather." I could understand both unders. I could also understand both dogs. And right now I'm going to stick with Cardinals plus 113 and decide if I'm going to add the White Sox while that game is going on. That is the first 2 games on the MLB card. The rest of the MLB card we are going to break down on the Late Show. Eddie Euler says leaning White Sox plus 1.5. Noli No says no, the Cleveland lineup. Oh, yes. The Cleveland lineup definitely likes power. Good call. Good call, Noli. Sorry. I always think that the White Sox have no power and the Indians do have power, but you're right. That has definitely changed right now. I Maxman says Sox in the under. I think I like the look of Clevenger and the Indians aren't hitting. That all makes a ton of sense. The under makes a ton of sense in both these spots, and I do think we can trust Nova, especially in this cold weather. Domino says lots of pressure on Clevenger. Last year, not much was expected of him. I think I may add a couple plays on the White Sox-Indians game. I will tweet them out. At this point, my only play is Cardinals on the money line in that first game in the morning, and we will break the rest of the MLB card down on the Late Show. All right, let's move on to NHL, where I'm very excited to have the record up in that sport, and that will be coming up this week. We're just bringing in all the spreadsheets right now. But I also just hit a plus 560 play that I gave out on the show on the morning, or at the beginning of the year, on the Flames to win the division, which was glorious. So, but all the NHL futures, I'm going to add on just like Pete did last year at the very end of the season. So we'll wait for all that. Dom Reach says light snow, 32 degrees in Cleveland. It's going to get a little warmer as it goes, as it gets later, but it's going to be very cold. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be very cold. And for that reason, maybe both these unders are just gimmies. I'm not going to take the under in the first game, but maybe that White Sox under is just a absolute play here. Maybe I will. Okay. All right, let's get to work here. Now, the NHL card, we're going to start with Capitals at Panthers. Let me just pull up the NHL odds here at sbrodds.com. Let's get the money lines and totals, and let's get to work here. I need to say a lot of these games out loud. I've not made any bets yet, but there's certainly some things I want to do here. All right, let's move with Capitals at Panthers. For me, I have a feeling that Ovechkin went out last night in Miami. They had a couple days off after the Tampa game Saturday night, so they had one night off. They flew into Miami last night. It's hard to imagine that Ovechkin didn't go out in Miami, and he but you have to feel like he probably went out and celebrated the fact that he scored his 50th goal of the season, which is a huge deal. I've got Holtby versus Luongo. I am leaning towards the Panthers' first period in this game. Capitals coming off their fourth straight win, 6-3 at Tampa on Saturday night. They have, Don Ricci, the season ends on Friday, so I guess I would think Monday, but we'll figure out all that stuff. Eddie Oilers saying Ovechkin joining Gretzky and Bossy with his 8th 50-goal season. It's absolutely extremely impressive. Torrance says, I lean to Washington. They need to win 2 of their last 3 to win the division, but they're off their big regular season win. I agree. I think that they can take care of business, but I think the Panthers' first period should be the spot here. Capitals coming off their 4th straight win. They're 3 points up on the Islanders and the Met with 3 games to go, as Tomar just said. Ovechkin scored twice on Saturday. 51 goals, on pace to lead the league for the 8th time, which would break the record he holds with Bobby Hull. And then we just mentioned the 50-goal season. Ovechkin has 658 goals, so he's now 13th place on the NHL list. He's the 3rd oldest player to reach 50 goals in a season, with Johnny Busick and Jaromir Jagr. Busick 35, Jagr 34. Very, very impressive. 247 power play goals. Ties him with Luke Robitaille for 4th in NHL history. Just spectacular. Now, Brett Connolly missed Saturday's game with an illness. Michael Kempney, as we know, the defenseman, he's out with a lower body injury. That's long-term. Panthers had last night off, and they can be dangerous. I mean, their offense is dangerous. The season's over, but Barkov is chasing Bure's single-season record. Barkov needs 4 more points. He's at 90. Dadonov has a career-high 68 points. Ekblad just so disappoints me. Let's not even bother talking about his stats. Huberdeau as well. He's 88 points, so he's just 6 back of that record. Mike Hoffman, 35 goals. Only 2 teams have allowed more than Florida this year, and their goals against is just horrible. But they've won 2 straight games, both on the road. They're coming back. They're a healthy group. Hodori Hanzo says, I like Capitals' money line. You know what? Gabe Paskey says if Ovechkin is going out, it will be after this game. You know, that's a good point, Gabe Paskey. That's a good point. I still feel like Florida should come after them. And one thing, when we can't rely on when Ovechkin's going to go out and not go out. That's a bit of a problem with the guy. I feel like Florida first period is the spot. There's some talk here about the total going over. Let's take a look at what we'd be dealing with the over. It's a 6.5, heavily juiced to the over. And let's see what I'd get on the first period money line on the Panthers. That's what I want to jump on right here. Janed liking the Florida over, just plus 111. I don't even know if that's worth it. You know, you want a plus line in that kind of a spot, and I'm not getting one. Lucky Lefty liking the Caps Panthers first period over. Let's see what we get on the first period over here. Does it have to be big? 1.5 at minus 194. I'm not going to take that. You know, I guess I'm just going to leave that as a lean at this point. I just want to make more money if I'm going to fade the Caps in the first period. And since Ovechkin's trying to break some records today, those are all broken right now. Kate Paskey says he knows he won't get much from Price and will take advantage of weak Florida goaltending, if anything, the over. I guess all that makes sense, but I'm not going to make a move on this early game. Let's roll into the next game here. We have Rangers at Devils. 2 bad teams, but the Rangers are playing good hockey right now. Let's take a quick look at the money lines and the totals here. Rangers have scored 7 straight goals, actually, as well. Rangers, the total's 5.5. That's a low total. The Jersey's lukewarm favorites at minus 117. It looks like it'll be Lundqvist versus Blackwood. Rangers will be completing a back-to-back set. They won 3-0 in Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. They might be a little tired. The victory created the first winning streak for the Rangers since January 15th to 19th. As I said, 7 unanswered goals. They're still missing Jesper Fast from the lineup. Devils last played Saturday night. They lost at home to St. Louis 3-2 in overtime. They've lost 2 straight, 5 of 7. They have seen a lot of their injured players come back, but they're still missing forwards Hall, Bratt, Bastian, and Gabriel. And then Sammy Vatanen's illness has just been lasting for so long. Eddie Oilers says New Jersey Devils under 4 in a row. in all honest, I have Bob Taylor saying Caps -1.5 is huge value. I agree, but I just after them beating the Lightning, being in Miami. Kate Paskey says, get the feeling Rangers are playing loose hockey and scoring goals. Rangers money line. I think that's an interesting play. That's where my lean is. I also have a lean towards the over. I know that we're saying the Devils have gone 4 straight unders in a row, but I feel like a 5.5 between these two teams is very susceptible here. So those are my two leans at this point. Tormio said I'd lean over and the Rangers can score, but their defense isn't consistent. I like the over in this game. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to take an over 5.5 here. I feel like loose is the key. These teams will be playing loose. There should be offensive opportunities. I'm getting an over 5.5 at -120. That's available at Pinnacle and 5 Dimes. Over 5.5. I'm going to start with that. I may make a move on the Rangers. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, let's talk about Leafs Islanders. It's Johnny Tavares' second time coming back to Long Island. We know what happened the first time. Obviously, there's not going to be the same energy, but the Islanders are still playing good hockey and need to keep winning where the Leafs don't care. Shout out to Felipe Fernandez in the house. Let's talk more about this spot. Oh, and then back to this play with the over at 5.5. The Devils' penalty killing is very good. So that's the one thing that is a bit of a concern with, because you're going to need a power play goal or two from the Rangers. But the Rangers' penalty killing is so bad that even without Taylor Hall, we got Nico Hischier healthy, Will Butcher. I know that the Devils can get a couple power play goals, so I'm on this spot. Hattori Hanzo saying, I like the Islanders. Let's take a quick look at what we get on the Islanders here. This total's at 6, and it's juiced to the under. And let's go to money lines, get money lines and totals up here, SPR odds, and -110. It's an even play. I guess I agree that I like the Islanders in this spot too. Tavares making a second trek to Long Island. 6-1 loss February 28th. He's playing great since that game, but he's been held off the score sheet in back-to-back games. But he still has 18 points in his last 12 games. Lil J says, for most teams, it's going to be a coin flip like last week of school, fucking around, little work, laid back, open hockey, but some games will be like playoff games this week. I like that. Adori Hanzo says, Islanders in the hunt. They certainly are. They're right there. They're right there in the mix. Leafs have lost 7 of their last 10. They're coming off a loss in Ottawa Saturday night, 4-2. Dermott is back, but they're still missing Jake Gardner. The Islanders had a very nice 5-1 win on Saturday over Buffalo. 3 points back behind Washington. Jordan Eberle heating up, and an important time to heat up. And he's a guy that can continue this into the playoffs. He does seem to still, even though his numbers are not very good, not what we expected of him when he came out of junior, when he came out of, was it Moose Jaw? One of those teams in Saskatchewan. We did think that he was going to be an offensive player in this league, and he hasn't looked that way, but he's got 4 goals in his last 4 games. He is a guy who can get hot. Robert Lehner looking very good, but we're not entirely sure if it's going to be Grice or him right now. Andrew Ladd done for the season. Phil Pula also out for 4 weeks. Dave L.A. won the first Sunday Night Baseball under the season. I was thinking about you, and he swept yesterday plus 8 units. Great work, great work. That's beautiful. I think the Islanders are the play here. I really do. And I think at even money, you're getting a nice spot. Let's see what Dom says. I have a feeling Toronto's going to come out and super focused and pissed. I was at the last game. They were disrespected the whole game. Even gave up goals with a minute left. And Dom Reed says Toronto wants to make a statement tonight. I mean, that's what the market's telling us. You'd have to think the Islanders would be much bigger favorites. This is a coin flip -110 spot, which is surprising. Lamont Williams says, I had a good weekend. Virginia Tech money line. Oh, that was just a barrel. Michigan State money line. That was a beautiful hit there. Very close to a big weekend there for Lamont. Lamont saying lean New York and under 6. I guess the under 6 is appealing. I guess that would be the most appealing spot. But I've just lost on all my unders. Hattori Hanzo saying Islanders puck line. I'm not going to make a move at this point, but I do find the under and the Islanders appealing. William Cathcart says they ain't going to embarrass the Islanders. Sorry, no. The Islanders are just a strong defensive team. Trotsy's done a hell of a job. All right, let's move on to the Lightning at Senators. This is another spot where the Lightning are done. I just wish if they had beaten the Capitals, the Ottawa first period would have been a play I'd be all over. But they are coming off a 6-3 loss. So I still think Ottawa is going to come out flying in this game. Let's talk a little bit more. Loss ended the Lightning's chance of tying the 76-77 Canadiens record for most points in a single season. They still have a shot at the 62 wins, from the 95-96 Red Wings. But they have a ton of injuries, and it's now time to get right. It's now time to get right. And Hedman and Cernak, two defensemen, made early exits from Saturday's game to upper body injuries. Sounds like Cernak will be back. But they're not going to have Anton Strawman. They're not going to have Dan Girardi. So Andrei Vasilevsky is going to need rest. They're on a back-to-back here. They play Montreal tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, they play Montreal tomorrow. Senators have won 3 of their last 4. They just beat Toronto 4-2. They're at home. Craig Anderson's been playing very well. So what I'm going to do, Tom Marino says I'd lean Tampa. They had nearly 5 days off before playing Washington. They weren't sharp. William Cathcart on Lightning puck line. They want to go playoff strong, not slumping. Still playing for records also. I believe they're playing for records, but they're playing more to get right. Shout out to Joseph Mondalto in the house. What I'm going to do here is if Craig Anderson is in goal, which I need to wait and see, and I don't know if you guys know at this point, if Craig Anderson's in goal, I'm going to take Ottawa first period and take a shot for a score here. I do think that over time that the Lightning players will step up, but right now, if I can get Craig Anderson, I'm going to take Ottawa first period for a score. Gabe Paskey says Lightning are even more dangerous when they roll 4 lines. Sens don't have a chance. Sorry. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But without Hedman and with all these injuries on defense, I think it's a nice time to take a shot with Senators early. Mr. Goke says Crow's got this team firing. He sure does. Crawford's done a nice job since he took over the team about 3.5 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And let's see. I need to be getting a huge score if I'm going to take them on the money line first period. Let's see, money line first period. And I need Craig Anderson. And Craig Anderson playing so well, but they've been going back and forth with Nilsson and Anderson. Ottawa first period, I'm going to get plus 200, and I'm going to take it. Jim Remy says, I love Senators on Saturday night, plus 200. Beautiful spot. So, Lil J says, Lightning going through the motions can still win this. They're solid. I agree. If I get Craig Anderson, though, Jay Bet says Anderson is in goal. Is that confirmed? Because that's what it says on the sites, but they've been going back and forth with Nilsson. If somebody can confirm that, I'm going to jump on the Senators first period. And you know what? Let me just, I guess we don't have a ton of time, but let me just quickly check if that's on my site confirmed. As soon as that's confirmed, I just think that the Senators are going to come out flying in this game. They know who they're playing against, and they care. So it's not confirmed. Oh, it is confirmed. Craig Anderson confirmed at 10:42. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm taking the Ottawa Senators first period. I'm getting plus 200 at both Heritage and 5 dimes. And that's my play. I'm going to do it. Islanders first period. I'm going to go for a score early. I think they come out guns a-blazing. Okay, Mr. Ghost says small unit on first period. I see Anderson too. Beautiful. Gabe Paskey said I wouldn't be surprised to see Crawford take the Oilers job, head coaching job next thing. And thank you so much, Jay Betts. Respect. I'm on it now. Let's get it. Okay, let's keep rolling along here. We got Avalanche at Blues. Grubauer playing very good hockey. Grubauer going up against Binnington, who's been a revelation this year. St. Louis is behind Winnipeg and Nashville by 2 points, but just 3 points up on Dallas. I mean, that Central Division is getting so close. Since December 10th, they're 32-14-4. They put themselves in the division race. They'd lost 3 in a row, and we were like, man. I mean, a lot of it was due to injuries, but they've gone 6-1-1 in their past 8. Lamont Williams liking the over. I feel that spot. Eddie Oilers said Lightning won 5-1 in Tampa on March 2nd. Listen, I love this first period spot with the Senators. I think it's a great spot to take a shot, and that's what I'm doing here. They're getting healthy. They still have Joel Edmondson out. They're coming off a 3-2 overtime win against New Jersey on Saturday night. They did not look good on that road trip. Madison Square Garden and then New Jersey. They did not look good in either of these spots. Ron Lott saying Coyotes could use an Avs loss. They certainly could. Are they going to get one? Avs have won 6-7. They got Landeskog back in that 3-2 shootout win over Arizona. They're still without Rantanen. And Grubauer has been the guy here. He's taken over from Varlamov. He started the last 7 games, .957 save percentage with a shutout. Blues have beaten the Avs all 3 times this year. 2 of them have come in overtime. Eddie Oiler says Avs Blues playoff type game under 5.5. That might be it, Eddie Oiler. That might be the best call on this card. Let's take a look at what we get on that. I like that. See if it's not too juiced. Oh, sorry, that's still first period under. Sorry, let's go to full games. Looking at this quickly. Avs Blues. You know, I'm going to jump on that. Under 5.9. I think that's a great call, Eddie Oiler. I agree with that. Great goaltending. Going to be tight. And without Rantanen, this Blues or this Avalanche team is just not going to be able to do some of the things that they can do offensively. And even with those guys out, their power play has been dropping. It's still 7th in the league at 22.9%, but the Blues have great penalty killing. The Blues power play can't take advantage of certain situations. I mean, they're still 13th in the league. But yeah, I'm in. I am in. Oh, that's terrible news, Big Boss. God, I was hoping they would come away clean in that day. Okay, I'm on that under 5.5. Shout out to Eddie Euler. We're getting minus 115 at most of these books. Under 5.5 here. Under 5.5 at minus 115. I agree. I think it's going to be a very, very tight defensive game. Now let's move on to Jets Blackhawks. Man, this Jets team continues to lose. 3 straight losses, all regulation, all at home. Not looking good. Coming off a 3-1 home loss to the Canadiens on Saturday night. They got Buffalo back, but it doesn't seem to be enough. They've lost 4-5 overall. Being outscored 18-12. Oh, nice. Brad Summersell's coming with me on that first period. That's exciting, man. That's so goddamn exciting. I love those bets, man. Okay, it was an optional skate on Saturday morning for the Jets, and Morrissey did come out. So Morrissey's close to coming back in the lineup. They need him badly. They're not playing well. Blackhawks coming off 3-2 overtime loss to LA on Saturday night. They've lost 5-7. Feels like Junior Ramos says I have 5.34 goals predicted for that game. Not enough value. Need 1 goal discrepancy. Good luck. That makes a ton of sense, Junior Rummy, and I hear that. Okay, let's keep rolling here. So Camp is hurt. He's their third or fourth line centerman, depending how you look at those lines. But they did get Drake Cagula back. The Blackhawks are done. They're done. So with that being said, and Lamont Williams taking the Rangers solo over. It's been cashing for me. I noticed it's been cashing for you. And St. Louis, Pittsburgh down to 7. Well, great job, Nolan knows getting on that early. Gay Paskey said Line A is very disappointing. Something going on with that kid's life. He's awful. He's not playing well. The only time he played well was when he went to Finland, and then he had that incredible month. Very, very strange kid. I agree. Lucky Lefty says Jets bounce back today. Yeah, I don't know if I trust them. It is always fun when you see Buff go back to Chicago. The total 6.5. I think that total could be in play. That total could be in play for sure. It's not too heavily juiced right now towards the over. I wonder if that's what Blackhawks aren't scoring that many goals right now. Taves always likes playing against the Jets. You know, he's from Winnipeg, and his dad, Vic Taves, finance minister in Canada. I'm not going to make a move on the Jets Blackhawks right now. I just feel it kind of tricky. Thomas says I'd lean the Winnipeg team total over 3.5. What about just the over 6.5? But the Blackhawks just haven't been scoring enough. Mr. Goku says under, Jim. Okay. Well, that will keep me off making the Oilers. Let's move on to a play I am making. Now, I told you guys the big fear with the Knights, and man, I picked the wrong time to hedge my action with the Sharks and Flames. I picked the wrong time. I mean, I only put $150 on the Knights to win the West as a hedge, but that was the wrong time to do it. The problem with this Knights team when the games get really tough every second night, and the opponent is trying to hurt you, is what the hell's going to happen with Pacioretty and Stastny? Are they going to be able to? They're broken guys. That's the question. And Lamont Williams also on the full game one under. William Cathcart says it's either Blackhawks or pass me. I think I'm more and more. I hear you guys, especially with a couple of you guys go say Lamont on the under. I'm just going to pass. The Knights need to get right, and the Oilers don't have a lot to play for. The Oilers are done. The Knights have to get right here. I just feel like the Knights minus 1.5 are the play, but is there value on it? Let's talk a little more. Golden Knights coming off 4-3 overtime loss at San Jose. They've now lost 5 straight. That was Saturday night. 8 straight game without Marc-Andre Fleury. They need to get him back. They didn't have Paul Stastny in the lineup, and they didn't let us know exactly why that was in San Jose. He was a late scratch. He was on ice for the warmups. Nate Schmidt, hugely important, suffered an upper leg injury blocking a shot Saturday. So I'm not going to take the Knights until I know that Schmidt is in the lineup. And I would like to know about Paul Stastny as well. Brandon Peary dealing with a lower body injury. Oilers are coming off 5-1 home loss to Anaheim on Saturday. They are 10-6-3 over their last 19 games, but it seems like McDavid and Draisaitl are just going to amass points out there. They don't care about winning. They're the first 2 Oilers teammates to get 100-plus points since Curry and Carson in 88-89. Eddie Oilers says Oilers losing 5-1 on Saturday on a back-to-back was inexcusable. Oilers as flaky as Dallas they are. William Cathcart says, what's the line on the Knights game? Let's take a look at exactly what kind of value we're talking here. The total's at 6.5, juice to the under. And if you wanted the Knights minus 1.5, you would get them at plus 109 or plus 110. And I'm not going to do that until I know about Schmidt. So at this point, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on the Knights till I find out about Nate Schmidt and I find out about Paul Stastny. Farshad Hassami liking the Blues on the money line in that Avalanche spot. And Lucky Lefty saying hit the like button. Thank you for caring about that, Lucky Lefty. Thomas says the Western Conference teams know the playoffs will be brutal. They are all Western players. They are going to be brutal every second night. Brutally, incredibly wonderful. That didn't really work. Janed 52160 says, don't do it. Oilers are playing for their jobs and pride. Knights are in the playoffs and hurt, but they don't want to lose out. But I agree with that. But the Oilers are just letting go now, I think. And playing for jobs, I guess the bums on that team are. I don't know. I'm hesitant. But I hear what you're saying, Janed. So, but if I get Schmidt, if Schmidt and Stastny are in, I'm going to take the Knights to win here. Then we have Flames at Kings. It feels like this is a time to jump on the Kings. It really feels like it's a time to jump on the Kings here. Let's see what we get on the money line. The Flames clinched. They're done worrying about anything. Clinched the Western Conference, clinched the division, and you're getting plus 126 on the Kings. They are celebrating a couple things for the Kings tonight. They're celebrating the two guys, Dustin Brown breaking Dave Taylor's record for games played in the Kings uniform with his 1,112th, and Taylor was the guy who drafted Brown years ago. And Anze Kopitar playing on it in his 1,000th game. So Brendan Leipzig, he's hurt and going to be done for the season, but that's it. That's it. Oh, Lamont Williams. Okay, so Lamont Williams, let's hammer that. We talk about NBA just shortly here. Eddie Euler says leaning Flames, Kings under 6. Antoine Seymour says Kings first period. Yeah, I just see the Flames just letting go here. Flames are on the second half of a back-to-back. They defeated the Sharks 5-3 in San Jose last night. Gave them their first division title. They had to celebrate that. They won 8 of 11. This just feels like a spot. Wow, Jin Rummy's model leans Oilers 225. Thank you for letting us know. Eddie Euler says Kovalchuk benched last game. He's been benched for a while now. He didn't even come with them when they went up Western Canada, so he's missed 3 straight games. I feel like this, and over is the play, says Janed 52160. So you might be right. Over may be the play. William Cathcart says I like Kings on plus money tonight. You know, I do too. I like Kings on plus money tonight. I like Kings first period for sure. And I like Kings full game. First off, I'm going to take them first period. I'm hesitant to double up on this game, but it just feels like the right time to do it. First period. Let's see what we get first period for the Kings. Money lines, first period. Yeah, Flames are hungover. William Cathcart's Flames clinched on back-to-back. Take Kings. I agree with all of that. I absolutely agree with, and I'm going to double up. And I don't like doing that, but I'm going to double up here. First off, I'm going to take the Kings first period, and I'm getting a plus 115 at Pinnacle. And I really think this is the way we need to hammer the last week of the season here. So first period plus 115, and then I'm going to take them full game as well. Full game. Let's quickly see what I'm getting here. Full game. Sorry, guys. Just quick line shopping here. That's SBR odds. Full game, Kings. Plus 127 at 5 dimes. I'm going to take both of those. All right. So it looks like we have no puck lines on this card right now. Let's just go over exactly what I'm on in NHL. Sorry, moving here. Okay, NHL. Sorry, I got a lot of notes here. So I'm not making a move on the Capitals Panthers here. I guess Gate Pasquis might have a good point about Ovechkin partying after this game. But Ovechkin just parties in these cities, and after breaking those records, interesting. I think you have a nice point, Gabe Pasquis, and it's probably going to take me off of this. So then I'm on the over 5.5 Rangers, Devils at minus 120. I'm staying off Leafs Islanders. I think I just need a little bit more time to break this down. Shout out to Rayan Hyder in the house. Lightning Senators, I'm off. Oh, no. Sorry, what am I talking about? First period plus 200. Sorry, okay. Senators first period plus 200. I've got 2 first period plays on this card. I'm on the under 5.5, Colorado, St. Louis. And we are going to barely touch hockey on the late show. We got to move on to finish off the baseball card. We're going to have a lot of work to do. These days are going to be very intense. Okay, and I'm on the Kings. Eddie always says Kings won 3-0. Settled on March 25th. I don't think the Flames care about revenge in this spot. All right, so that's my NHL card. Lamont Williams says, you get my max bet back to work now. I did, but I copied and pasted something else, and I screwed everything up. Can you find me that max bet one more? Can you drop that max bet one last time for me? And then I will make sure I copied it. It's Heat plus 7. And was it Pistons? Heat plus 7. Okay. Let's get into this NBA card. Now, we don't need to finish the whole NBA card. What we don't finish, we will hammer on the late show. But let's start with Pistons at Pacers here. Let's get the spreads and totals up for NBA. Spreads and totals here. Okay. So, first off, Pacers are 5-point favorites. I'm surprised. It opened at -6 and it's gone down to -5, and that surprises me. It surprises me because Blake Griffin is already being ruled out. So you'd think that the Pacers would become bigger favorites, and they haven't. But the Pistons showed a ton of heart last game, and Reggie Jackson stepped up with 28 points at 99-90 win over Portland. This total has been dropping, and I should have jumped on it earlier. 209.5, now it's at 204. Thank you so much, Eddie Euler. It's a tricky week, but a week where we can find value, and I need to listen to you guys, and thank you for that under, Eddie Euler. We have to work together, and there's so many sports going on right now, and I'm doing my best not to get overwhelmed and to stay focused and not reach for plays. Okay, Darius Gresham says DePaul or South Florida. Who to take? Darius, we're going to have Drew Martin joining us to break that game down and break down the two early games as well. King Rail saying Pacers -5.5, no Blake. I feel like that's the right look here. It has to be a get right spot for the Pacers. They finished last month 4-10, 1-7 over their last 8 games. This is a home and home, so I'm sure that Blake is going to be good to go. I'm not sure, but you would expect Blake to be good to go in the home and home at home on Wednesday night. They're coming off a 121. This Pacers 121-116 loss to Orlando at home on Saturday night. They allowed 65 second-half points, just unacceptable. They're angry with each other. Wesley Matthews, right, hamstring strain. If Matthews sits, that means we're going to see more 2-point guard lineups. So Corey Joseph will get more time. Tyreek Evans is going to get more time. Thank you so much, Juan Juarez. Much love to you. And, Butler is out, says Pac-Man. Thank you, Pac-Man. Okay, this is great. Okay, so no Collison, says Rayhan, and no Matthews. I didn't know Collison was out as well. Interesting. We know that Wesley Matthews. Tony Marion said Detroit got Portland on second night back-to-back. They haven't been the same team on the road. I agree with all this stuff. Kenneth T saying Pacers is a good bet. Let's jump on now because I do not think -5s are going to be available. So Detroit scored a season-low 31 points in the first half, but that was a tired Portland squad. And King Rail put us onto it before. He said if Portland wins on Friday night, which they did, he said take Detroit. And I'm sure he was concerned when he saw Blake wasn't in the lineup, but they still took care of business. Pistons had lost their 3 previous games without Griffin. I think this is great stuff. I think absolutely great stuff. Bob Taylor, another disappointed person to find out that Jin Rummy's not on Twitter. Get on it, Jin Rummy. We need you. We need you on there. Okay. I'm jumping on it right now. Pacers -5. Let's quickly line shop. I think that's a great stuff. And thank you for joining us, King. Let's break this down right now. Pacers -5. There's a -105 available at both Heritage and Pinnacle, and I am on it. Pacers -5, -105. Book it. Okay. Now, Heat, Celtics. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, that's my phone freaking out over here. My fault. Left the ringer on. My fault. Let's get this shit off. All right. Okay. Heat, Celtics. This is a first of a crucial 5. Oh, sorry. Got to adjust myself. Am I okay in the right spot? Okay. Let's get to work. Okay. First of a crucial home and home for the Heat. Crucial game here. And I got -5 and -105 at Heritage. Jesse Daly says Pacers is a trap. Sharp Money says Pacers are a gift. That's capping for you. Well, I'm Burgess liking the Pacers under. I just feel like I'm on the wrong spot in that. It's just too late. Eric Swiatek saying Jin Rummy finally getting the love he deserves. Man, he's extremely sharp. He's extremely sharp. Okay. So the Heat are playing good basketball right now. They maintain their grip on the 8th final postseason berth with that 192 win over the Knicks on Saturday. The Heat hold a half-game edge over Orlando Magic for 8th spot. Miami enters 6-2, as I said. Justin Winslow, day-to-day with a thigh injury. Josh Richardson, out at least this game with a left heel injury. He did not travel. Derek Jones Jr., personal is questionable. So we know Rodney Magruder, Richardson, Winslow already out. And now Derek Jones Jr., which means they're going to see a ton of James Johnson and a ton of Dion Waiters. Which means, I know that James Johnson does a lot of things defensively, but Dion Waiters does a lot of things offensively. So you have to think with those guys out of the lineup, it does skew to the over because Richardson and Winslow do defend the perimeter so well with their length. Tomino says Miami is desperate. Brian B says Pacers is a blessing. Over 212 says King Rail. That makes sense to me. That makes a ton of sense to me with these guys out. Let's see. Sorry, let me move this up here. Spreads and totals. All right. Spreads and totals here. Let's find this out. 212.5 and going up. I think that makes a ton of sense with the injuries and more Dion Waiters. Thank you, King. I'm going to jump on that with you. Boston barely got past Indiana with a buzzer beater by Irving on Friday night. Then No Horford or Irving on the Saturday night because they were being saved for this game. Celtics have lost 5 of 7. I'm jumping on this. Brian Arpin says Celtics over looks good. I am jumping on this over. Now, we know Lamont loves the Heat +7 in this spot. I'm not going to jump on that. If I would take the Heat, I'd probably take the Heat early. Farshad Asami backing Celtics over. Tomeo says Boston has no size. Miami should take advantage of the boards. That's true. That's true. And I'm jumping on this over here with the Celtics. Over 212.5. Is there anything lower than that? No. Over 212.5 at -107 at minus 105. We got Heritage giving us the best line there. Over 212.5. Minus 105 at Heritage. All right. That's the second play on the NBA card. I got Pacers -5. And I got Celtics over 212.5. All right. We're going to call up Drew Martin right now. Rafa, get that. We got to get that rolling. He's going to go over some baseball with us. Also, he's going to go over the college basketball game. Rand Hyder says Detroit covers. Book it. Write that shit down. It will not lose. You know, I can understand when the market is telling you something, and it certainly is telling you that even without Griffin, that the play is the Pistons, but I'm not going to be too concerned going against it. William Cathcart says, I like the Heat on the road plus points, fighting for the last playoff spot. You know, that makes a ton of sense. Greek Freak out tonight. Joy Joyner says, it looks like it. Let's talk about this game right now and talk about the injuries, and we'll figure all this out. But I wonder if that's the spot, if I should jump on this here. Jesse Dennis says, Pacers have been playing over their head. They're not a good team right now. They aren't a good team, but I don't think we should take... I think that the fact that the Pistons won 99-90 over Portland is the reason why we're getting this very nice line here. So we'll talk Ray and Hyder. And let me know when you get down to Costa Rica so we can party. Okay, Bucks, Nets. Milwaukee 3 games up on Toronto, 5 games remaining. On Sunday, they lost to Atlanta on Trae Young's buzzer beater. They were up 23 in the first quarter. They played without Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, Tony Snell, Mirotic, DiVincenzo, and Pau Gasol. And Budenholzer says, I think there's a good chance that Giannis will play on this road trip, but I don't think he's going to be in the lineup tonight. They are expecting Middleton and Snell to be back, and that's it out of that group of 6. Nets are in the 7th spot, half game behind Detroit. They need this game. Magic are lurking just a half game behind in 9th. Crab's out, and Rodion's Crux is out as well, or doubtful at this point, which means going to mean more Travion Graham. He'll get the start, and more minutes for Carroll and Hollis Jefferson. I think that the Nets have to be the play, especially when they announce that there's going to be no Greek Freak, which is going to be coming very soon. Let's go to point spreads right now. Greek Freak, I expect him to be out. And you're getting a plus line on the Nets here. Oh, look, I'm taking it. Let's just take another look at the Nets. So they're coming off this back-to-back, which is, Sharp Money says Brooklyn are a max. I think that this has got to be the play. King Rail says, also like Knicks and Blazers tonight. King, what do you think about this spot here? Bucks, Nets. Tomio says Milwaukee knows they have the number 1 seed. Toronto doesn't care. Tough to lay points with them on the road. You know, I'm not going to lay points with them on the road. Even though this is the second half of a back-to-back, I'm not going to do it. Just doesn't make any sense to me. So the Bucks are on the second half of a back-to-back. Sorry, the Nets aren't on the second half of back-to-back. I got that wrong. Sorry, the Nets aren't. The Nets, when was their last game? Shit. Sorry, I'm screwing this up here. Sharp money on Brooklyn money line. Let me just quickly get to this spot here. Brooklyn did not play yesterday, so sorry. I don't know why I said they were on the second half back-to-back. I was just getting confused with the Bucks being on the second half. This is, again, a confusing line, but I'm not going to let it scare me. I'm going to take Brooklyn at plus 115. Available at Bookmaker. I think this is going to be the exact same thing that happened with us in the Atlanta Pelicans game where we doubled up on Atlanta. We got on the Atlanta money line early, and I got them at just plus 105 or something, and it was minus 135 when we came back for late show. I think this is going to be the exact same thing. Jesse Dennis says, why not wait to see if you want the spread plus 2? It's not a number you need to lock in. Yeah, I don't care about anytime 4.5 or under, I take the money line. I think what's going to happen here is it's going to be minus 120 when we come back for the late show. So I'm taking the Nets plus 115. Okay, so that creates a situation where we have the first 3 games of the NBA card capped, and then Orlando, Toronto, Chicago, New York, Portland, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Dallas, Charlotte, Utah, Cleveland, Phoenix. We will cap on a late show after we cap all the late baseball games, and we're going to continue doing it just like this every day while we have the 4 sports combined right now. Okay, beautiful. Brian Arbor says, I think the Nets win, but wouldn't chance my money on it. Eddie Oler says, any chance Giannis plays? Honestly, what I've read, I say that there's a 10% chance Giannis plays. 10%, 15%. Shout out to Nick. Like, okay, so that's my NBA card. I made a play on each of those 3 games. I'm on Pacers -5 at -105. I'm on the over 212.5 in the Heat Celtics game at -105. And I'm on the Nets +115 money line. And that's my NBA card. Without further ado, let's bring in our NCAA basketball expert, who is also our MLB expert as well. As we have a few MLB experts, and we'll need them. You saw what happened to me last year. Drew Martin in the house. Drew, how are you doing on this Monday morning?
Hey, happy Monday morning to you, Jimmy. I'm doing good, man. Just trying to get out ahead of these MLB betting boards. But like you said it, man, college basketball center stage, great weekend. My Auburn Tigers going on to the Final Four for the first time ever. So that was an exciting piece there. And the Final Four set, man, Texas Tech. Kind of surprising people as well. We got Virginia, we got Auburn. It's gonna be a great Final Four, man. Looking forward to that, and also trying to get ahead of the weekday college basketball card because there's still NIT, CBI, some spots to win, and also starting my MLB here, Jimmy.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, they laughed at us, Drew, when we said Texas Tech would win the region. They laughed at us. They right in the chat, just nonstop. What are you guys talking about? What are you guys smoking? And as you know, with my lung illness, I'm smoking nothing. Okay, let's talk about, do you have any looks before we go on to, or what would you like to start with? Would you like to start your look on the one big college basketball game of the day, the first game of the CBI series, and then move on to MLB? How would you like to handle things?
I actually, I mean, as MLB starts, I'm kind of going slow here in April. I've only made one bet so far. It was on the losing side, Tampa Bay plus points in the first 5, and and since then I've just kind of been, one bet a day, maybe even one bet every other day whenever I'm finding something. And there is a spot I'm looking at today, and I haven't gone through the full card yet. Still early in the morning. The Atlanta Braves, Chicago Cubs, something here. The Cubs have been struggling early out of the gate against lefties. And with Newcomb on the hill, he does have a big lefty-righty split. He has had success in the past, and I know a lot of people, the betting market's really respecting the Cubs lineup. But they've struggled against lefties. Newcomb coming from the left side versus Hendricks, and the Braves have done pretty good against righties. He's not going to overpower people. As we know in the past, he sits around 90, 91. The Braves lineup tends to handle, not overpowering pitchers very good. They did last year anyway. So I'm starting to look towards Atlanta here as a home dog. I haven't made a bet yet, but as of right now, that's the spot I'm looking at, and that's Atlanta at home at SunTrust Stadium.
That is an interesting look. I'm going to spend the afternoon on these late games. But yeah, Newcomb at times was spectacular last year. And you had to feel like there was just arm fatigue going on late in the season when he stopped being so dominant. Have to break down the numbers with the Cubs against lefties. I think that's an interesting look. I kind of like that look. Twadi Latte says, I would be looking to fade Wainwright. Very nervous when Twadi Latte is on the other side of my action, which he is there. He says, I would be looking to fade Wainwright. That's scary. I'd love to hear what Twadi's action is today. Okay, so, and Brian Arpin says, Cubs, no score first inning. That's a nice look. Only -110 with the Hendricks Newcomb, no score first inning. Question, Drew, just before we move on, we have, just like what Twadi's saying, we have this game popping up in an hour and 7 minutes. Wainwright versus Archer. Archer making his the season debut and the home opener for the Pirates. It's 38 degrees and sunny. Wind going out at 6 miles per hour. I ended up jumping on the Cardinals and Wainwright. You have any feel for this game that pops off in an hour and 7 minutes?
I'll tell you, Jimmy, I looked at this one really closely, and there's so many obstacles going both ways here. The temperature, which I don't know, that makes it really tough because both of these pitchers, you brought up looking to fade Wainwright. I'm not so sure I'm too high on Chris Archer either. Moving, ballparks, obviously teams coming in this year. I think it's going to be an interesting, how is he going to start off this season, throwing the temperature aspect. And these guys are both pitchers I'm actually looking to fade this year. I have circled to watch, to look to fade. And the temperature aspect makes me lean towards the under, though. So there's just different aspects going on, over, under. I do look over just because of the two pitchers, but the temperature kept me off of it. So I don't have a play on it, man.
I hear that. I'm going to take the plus line with the Cards, but we'll see. I'm also very interested in this next game, and maybe you can help me a little bit with it, because when we're talking about these two totals, if it was a nice warm day, this St. Louis Pitt game would be juiced to the over 8.5. We know the Cards can hit righties, and Archer is questionable at times. And all that said, the wind's going out. It's sunny. I know sunny doesn't always help, whatever. But this other game is not juiced. And to me, I think that this may be the better. I'm very close to making a move on this under here in this White Sox Indian spot. We know the Indians have no power. I have they may have power at some point, but without Lindor in the lineup and with Ramirez hurt and the cold weather, we saw how it affected them last year. I feel like the White Sox and the under are the play, and I'm close to making a move on both of those. I would love to hear your input here. We have Nova Clevenger. Nova's been telling everybody for last week, he's like, I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now. He's pumped. Abreu looks good. Moncada looks good. Do you think that there's value on both of these spots?
Yeah, just hearing you talk about it, as far as the White Sox side, I would look towards Ian Nova being a bet-on pitcher, especially in this scenario where, his ground ball rate is very good. Going against this Cleveland lineup, I think that he keeps them on the ground. Double play opportunities. You're getting a big plus price on the White Sox. I think it's worth a shot. It could be worth a shot anyway. And as the under at 7.5, or in April baseball, I'm always leaning towards unders rather than overs. I just think that sometimes the pitchers get out in front, especially, these lineups in division haven't seen the pitcher a bunch this season. Once they've seen him 3 or 4 times, I think the advantage goes more towards the hitter. So with his ground ball rate, it would make me look towards the White Sox. I haven't kind of deep dived into this game, into the numbers, but initial look, I'm leaning towards the White Sox at a big plus price.
I'm going to take both of those. On Point Wager says, I'm in Pittsburgh. It's 50 and sunny out. No wind. Wow. I had 38 degrees on my thing. Twadi Ulate is also in Pittsburgh. Great guys. God, maybe we need to make a move to Pittsburgh for a big celebrate for a low bag summit of champions. You know what? I'm jumping on both these. I've had enough time to think about it. I'm going to take the under here in Chicago, Cleveland. I'm getting under 7.5 at minus 103 at Pinnacle. So under 7.5 at minus 103 at Pinnacle. And then I'm also jumping on the White Sox money line here. White Sox money line. I'm getting plus, and it keeps going down. Man, I should have got it when I started talking about it earlier. Plus 141 at Pinnacle. Plus 141 on the White Sox money line. Plus 141. Okay. All right. That makes me feel good. That's exciting. Going to be an exciting day. Got a lot of work to do, but going to be exciting. Wambaru, sorry to lead you astray there. I might have misspoke, but yes, it's the Pirates home opener. Poppy Longwood says Marlins money line, and Brendan Toland also on the under there too. Twilight Latte saying Cleveland offense is terrible, and Twilight Latte said Pittsburgh played in the exact same weather yesterday in Cincy. Okay, is there anything else just for our afternoon study that you're looking at in the MLB?
Tomar brings up a great comment, and I left it out of my analysis on the Braves game. Their bullpens look shaky, and he leans towards the first 5. So do I do as well. And sorry for leaving that out, guys. But Atlanta also being the home team, used to the confines, and the Cubs coming in. So I lean towards Atlanta first 5 here with Newcomb on the hill coming from the left side. Also, the San Francisco LA Dodgers game. Pomerantz coming from the left side against this Dodgers lineup, getting a big plus price. Something to look at on the late night slate. Also leaning unders in that, the Marine layer. I guess just really the Dodger Stadium overall early in the season. 7.5 kind of lead under. You can find an 8 at Bet Online right now. So San Francisco, LA Dodgers haven't made a play yet, but looking towards the under in that game as well.
Wow, I like that look. I'm looking forward to study Urias a little more. I was surprised he didn't make the lineup last year. This kid, 2 years ago when he popped up late in the season, I was like, man, this kid's a stud. Dave L.A. taking Indians team total under. God, I bet you that's a spectacular look. Indians team total under. Noli knows says Urias is going to deal. You're right. But DJ Big Boss said Giants rule the Dodgers. I'm going to need to study that more, but I think I'm definitely leaning to Urias in his season debut there. That team total under just makes so much sense. Let's see what I get it at my book, and let's see what other books are offering it at quickly here. And while I do that, why don't we start talking about Game 1 of the championship series, DePaul and Southern Florida. Let me pull up the odds right now on it quickly here. We go to NCAA basketball, and let's talk about this spot. DePaul at home, opening at +2, and now at +1.5. I wrote that wrong on the screen there, saying DePaul -2.5 at home. Sorry, that is my fault. South Florida is at -1.5. Do I have it wrong? Is this not the home game for DePaul? Because here it says South Florida's home. Did I screw that up as well, Drew?
Well, it's an interesting, it's a couple aspects going on as far as it's the CBI championship, so it's a 3-game series, Jimmy. And DePaul has home court advantage the last 2 games, but the first game tonight is actually in Tampa, so USF is at home tonight, Jimmy.
Okay, yeah, that because on ESPN it was saying it was in that arena that DePaul uses with 3,000, but it clearly looks on SBR odds that it's okay. All right, I can fix that on the graphics. Apologize for the graphics there. All right, so first game in Southern Florida. Let's start breaking down this game for pace and for side. This total opened at 151, and the market's a little confused. Pinnacle's down to 150.5, but bookmakers gone up to 151.5. What are you thinking here tonight?
It's a fascinating matchup, and I think I love what the CBI does here as far as a 3-game series. I think it's a nice way to end a smaller tournament. You know, it's outside of the NIT and NCAA tournaments, but you know, at -2 or -1.5 right now, SBR odds, I'm looking towards USF. A couple reasons why. David Collins, 16 points a game. Also, their point guard, Raidu, 13 points, 5.4 assists per game. They have really good 3-point defense. Their overall defense is good for the Bulls and has been good in this tournament. Also, they're a very good rebounding team. So offensively, they're struggling. They have gotten better towards the end of the season. Obviously, on this run to make it to the championship game, they've played very well. Brian Gregory, he's done a great job in Tampa. They do still struggle at the free throw line, which does worry me. They are catching or just having to lay 1.5 or 2. So in this price range, always tricky betting on a team that is under 70% from the free throw line. I don't like to do it. DePaul, on the other hand, their point guard, Devin Gage, he should play tonight. He was out last game with kind of concussion issues here. The CBI championship game, this is a 3-game series. Last year, North Texas won over the San Francisco Dons, 2-1. And this year, I think that South Florida gets out to the lead. You know, tonight, I think that they win at home. Then they're going to have to go up to Chicago, win one of the next 2 games. I think that's going to be tough, but I do think that they get it done tonight. A good defensive struggle being at home. I like USF here, Jimmy.
Yeah, USF, that sounds like it's the play. Nolan Note says with USF at home, maybe an under here. Ron Crawford says DePaul, no defense. USF played tougher conference schedule. A lot of guys liking USF. Raven in the Desert like USF to start it off, and then DePaul. William Cathcart liking South Florida at home. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense that USF final opportunity to play in front of their own fans to start the season off. I think that all makes sense. Have you made that an official play?
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. You know, especially in with the chat box liking it as well. Low bag family. Yeah, I'm going to put a half unit wager on it, Jimmy. I like this. I want something to bet on tonight in the CBI. So yeah, and I like the one commenter because that's exactly what I was thinking. USF tonight, and then DePaul to close it out at home. Kind of all the home teams winning. I could see that happening, and just defense at home, man. It's proved true in tournament play all year long. Yeah, I like USF. I'm going to get on it here. +2 at some books.
Wow, you're getting a +2, really?
Oh, no. Excuse me, -1.5.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, -1.5 at -108 at 5 dimes. I am on it as well. USF -1.5. Well, we've got to move on and get our studying in for the afternoon. We got a big late show tonight. But Drew, let's take a quick look at some of these spots here coming up on Saturday, if you don't mind. Auburn, Virginia, it opened at 5.5. It's still a 5.5 at some books. Pinnacle's already down to a 5. I mean, you have to think, what Auburn did was very special, and they handled that enormous injury, with a lot of heart, and they handled the adversity well. But is this the end of the road? Does Virginia take care of business? It's total at 131 as well. And then Michigan State opening at -3. And again, Pinnacle at -2.5 and the total at 132. Both games have similar totals. What are your just first feels? I know we're going to break it down all week, but first feels on the big games, Final Four Saturday.
One, I think it's fascinating matchups. Texas Tech, Michigan State, two well-coached teams, good point guard play, just good talent overall, kind of surprising, I guess you could say, the masses to get here. Texas Tech especially, not a lot of people had them, but very good defensive teams. 3 of the 4 teams, very good defense. All of them very good point guard play. The Texas Tech, Michigan State side of it, I look towards Michigan State. This is a Michigan State team I think will make it to the championship game. If you're making me pick right now who I would be on, it would be the Spartans. And I could see this kind of low possession right off, initial looks here. I see it a long, strong defensive battle, and Michigan State coming out on top. As far as the Auburn-Virginia game, it's been a heck of a run for Auburn, and if you've been going against them, you've been losing a lot of money, no doubt about it. But just what Jared Harper's been able to do at the point guard position is you really got to tip your cap. And a lot of people, kind of jumping on the Okoye injury, and he's a great player, but with Austin Wiley getting more healthy as with each passing day, I think Auburn is more capable of getting over his injury. And just the way that Auburn's offense has kind of transitioned to just getting the ball in Harper's hands, making him drive to the basket, dish it, and he's so tough to defend, man, that it's a great dynamic handicap as far as Virginia's defense versus Auburn's offense. And with the extra prep time, is Virginia going to be able to stop what Auburn's been able to do throughout the tournament? I don't know for sure. They're able to stop a lot of teams, so I think the advantage is actually in Virginia's court as far as pace goes. And if you're going to beat Virginia, you're going to have to beat them in a slower pace game. That's tougher for Auburn to do. So I think Auburn's up against it, but it's early, Jimmy, early in the week, and I can't wait till the end of the week here to put some bets down on both of these games, man, because it's going to be a fun Final Four.
It's going to be a great Final Four. Our man Noli knows, and I know we got to go, and we'll go right now, but our man Noli knows giving us a heads up on tomorrow's TCU-Texas game. I'm already very close to taking TCU, but I was wondering, he says jump on the under now. It opened at 142 at BetOnline, opened at 139 at Pinnacle. It's down to 138 or 137.5, just in under 30 seconds. You feel like that's a great spot that Noli's talking about?
In the under TCU-Texas game?
Yeah.
I like TCU as a side. I've been fading Texas the whole tournament. But granted, last game they won. Yeah, I wouldn't talk you off the under at initial look, although it's, the NIT with the new rules. So I kind of pumped the brakes on betting unders in this tournament. So I don't have a strong opinion either way.
Okay, well, looking forward to having you on the show tomorrow, because we have Wichita State, Lipscomb, Hampton Marshall, Texas Southern Green Bay, Texas TCU, and then no early games in baseball, so we can pick and choose what we want to talk about. Drew, thank you so much for joining us, my man. Starting our Monday with you on board. Where can we find you on Twitter, and when are your shows this week?
Yeah, happy Monday to you, Jimmy. Happy Monday to the Low Bag family. At Drew Martin Bets on Twitter, and 4 o'clock Eastern time in the afternoon, Max and myself breaking down college basketball Tuesday through Friday. So it will be fun. We got a bunch of games throughout the week, and leading us into the Final Four. So it will be good time. SBR YouTube channel, and also breaking down MLB more and more each passing day, but concentrating on college basketball right now. So best of luck to everybody out there tonight. And at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a huge card today, so let's get a lot of work done this afternoon. Come back. We're going to finish the rest of the MLB card and with the NBA games that we've missed, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be jam-packed. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Let's get the week and month start off with winners. Leche and los bookmakers.